Hey guys, RichGonga back to bring you Starcraft 2 1v1 action on Xel'Naga Caverns. In this matchup, we will have EpirD in the bottom left, spawning as the red Protoss. In the top right, soondooboo, spawning as the blue Protoss. Again, this is Xel'Naga Caverns, PvP. Interesting matchup. Usually when you get a PvP, you do see a typical 4-gate come out of both. Not all the time, however. So we shall see how this plays off. EpirD looks like he's getting ready to throw his pylon now, which is exactly what he does. Back here, proxy pylons. A lot of times players might go ahead and scout that. Even at that, you can throw a proxy down here. And as long as you can get one unit up here to give you the vision, you can get that warp in. Soondooboo throwing down a oddly placed pylon. I don't want to say sneaky just yet, but this is a very odd place for that pylon. I feel as though we are going to see a forge come up out of this first, but we shall see. He does have that 12th. No, we have a gateway. Very odd placement. EpirD with his gateway, standard placement, I would say. For all those playing, I have no idea what EpirD is planning, so far be it for me. I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong. However, for those maybe silver to gold level players, when you throw down your buildings, you want them here, because what that does is create a further distance to your mineral line. If you get a run-in of Zerglings or maybe Zealots or Marines, instead of just running directly to your mineral line, they're forced to go around. If you throw your gateway here and your cybernetics here and leave that one block open. Just as a tip, again, far be it from me, I am not even close to a pro. However, EpirD is going to spot this very particular placement of these gateways. He is going to see the cybernetics go down. And soondooboo hiding a probe behind that mineral line. Not exactly sure why that's there. However, the timing I am seeing out of soondooboo would lead me to believe that this would be some kind of 4-gate. We do have a proxy pylon already set up. Second gateway from EpirD. Gonna start pumping zealots. So in his particular case, I can see why he would want his gateways up here. However, I want to say that this zealot, oh, he did spawn the right way. Sometimes they spawn up here and they aggro their way around and back. It's rather annoying. One zealot is actually already out for EpirD. That is relatively early, so he is on his way up. We do have a stalker on the way, and a zealot is out for soondooboo. He is going to see this zealot, and they're going to start hashing it away to the death. It does look like soondooboo has the upper hand in this. EpirD running his zealot away, but he needs to be careful if he loses that zealot. We do have a second zealot up for EpirD, so now they are going to be super good friends because his life was saved. Now we do have a stalker out, so if microed correctly, that stalker can prove to be rather annoying for EpirD, who now has a cybernetics on the way. However, these 3 zealots are going to cause all kinds of havoc. This zealot is going to fall shortly if he is not careful. Soondooboo does have a second stalker out, so it looks like he'll be doing fine. However, EpirD is up in the mineral line now, causing all kinds of damage. However, this zealot's going to fall rather quickly, but not before killing one more probe. And we do have another zealot up in the mineral line. However, he's going to back out because with these 2 stalkers, he will fall very shortly. And he is going to make it away. These probes chasing him. I don't think it's a good idea for them to do it. And they do back out. However, this stalker is going to try and shoot away. However, with these 2 zealots, he's going to fall very shortly. But he is able to be taken away very quickly. We do have a 3rd gateway and warp gate on the way for EpirD. However, soondooboo's warp gate is going to be finished before, but he only has 2 gateways to work off of, with a 3rd that is not going to be completed. But with this proxy pylon down the bottom, soondooboo may be able to apply the pressure he needs. The zealot is going to fall. Stalker's just way too fast. And we do have a warp in from soondooboo of a couple of stalkers, so these zealots are going to start running their way up to the main. Soondooboo definitely needs to turn him around and just get a warp in back home. Convert that into a warp gate. Warp gate research only about half the way done for EpirD, a little bit more than half. We do have a Stalker out for EpirD, 2 Stalkers now out for EpirD, 2 Stalkers and a Zelt. So if micro correctly with this battle, I can see this being just fine. EpirD's Warp Gate research is going to be finished shortly. We do have a sentry on the field now for some kind of force field or guardian shield, and another Stalker on the way for EpirD. So he will be just fine against this group of 4 Stalkers. We do have a warp in at home to stop those 2 Zelts from the harassment. We do have a sentry on the field for soondooboo, who is making his way down the bottom. So EpirD is going to have to do something about this pylon if he wants to get rid of the pressure that he is about to be facing very shortly. 4th gateway now being dropped from EpirD, with two more Zelts and a Stalker. I think with this is going to be a very close battle. It's going to come down to who can micro correctly. soondooboo is supply blocked, so he is not going to be able to get another warp in until a couple of units fall. Guardian shield has gone up, and EpirD is going to back out as the number of Stalkers is just a little bit too much for him to deal with right now. That Guardian shield blocking all kinds of damage. That's exactly what it needs to do. EpirD with another warp in of Zealots to throw down the damage they need to against all these Stalkers. And EpirD going to try and get the surround. However, these Zealots are going to tank all that damage from all these Stalkers. And they're throwing down a ton of damage. 1 Stalker does fall. The other Stalkers... Oh, we do have a block on the ramp, so EpirD is not going to be able to fall back. Another Stalker fallen. EpirD is not going to be able to get up his ramp, so he wants to target that weak Stalker. He needs to target the weak Stalker, and it does fall finally, but we do have another warp in from soondooboo, who is working off of 3 gates to EpirD's 4. So if EpirD can hold on just a little bit longer, he will be able to get the units he needs. We do have another warp in of 3 Stalkers and a Zealot from EpirD. We do have 1 more Stalker being warped in from soondooboo. soondooboo still has this 1 probe out here. He probably wants to do something about that. At the same time, these Zealots are forcing these Stalkers back. We do have 4 Stalkers from EpirD, but these Zealots just so good at tanking damage. Tanking all the damage they need to, because the Stalker numbers are now higher for EpirD. So he has pushed soondooboo all the way back. However, he needs to deal with this pylon, because 1 warp in and they would be in his base. EpirD is now pushing them all the way back. And we have 2 more Stalkers being warped in for soondooboo. However, EpirD is going to turn around and take out this pylon that has been causing all kinds of havoc for him. These Zealots trapped behind these 2 fat Stalkers. This Stalker not even doing his job. He is just watching as the rest destroy that pylon. So now soondooboo dangerously close to being supply capped. He should probably throw down another pylon, I would say, as he only has 1 supply. And he is going to need another warp in shortly. We do have Blink research started. However, I don't know if it's going to be finished in time. EpirD setting up his own proxy pylon outside the goal. A couple of Zealots are going to poke their heads out here. However, EpirD does appear to have the number of Stalkers. He is going to need another Stalker joining the battle. These Zealots going to fall very fast for soondooboo, as EpirD just has another warp in with a sentry now involved. So soondooboo with a sneaky pylon around the back of this grass here. A warp in of a couple of Zealots around the back. Blink is being chronoed, so that should be done shortly. However, he needs to force field the ramp. He does force field the ramp. So he just needs to pull away from the side so the Stalkers are not in range. However, the Stalkers are in range. He needs to pull that Stalker back before he loses it. He does lose it. So soondooboo able to hold that off with a properly placed force field. However, if he can get another gateway and a couple warping of Zealots, he will be able to get the surround and keep EpirD from backing out. However, EpirD with another warp in of Zealots. So this is exactly what he wants to do. However, he is marching up the ramp, and soondooboo does not have a force field to stop it. But does he have the number of Stalkers? We do have Blink now finished, and they do blink back. I would love to see some Blink micro going on here. However, I don't know if EpirD is going to be able to deal with it if he does get that Blink micro just the way he needs it to be. They are starting to take out that pylon. It takes out 2 gateways. All EpirD has to do at this point is deal with all these Stalkers. However, the Blink micro was there. pulling that Stalker back, even blinking up, trying to deal with the rest of these. That Xel hating life. He's not going to be able to do anything. EpirD now setting up his expansion. He's going to pull back as that blink is just too pesky to deal with. Still has 4 gates that he's working off of. However, he turns around. Is he going to apply a little bit more pressure? We do have 56 supply to 50. But that 50 supply is Blink Stalkers. He does force the cancel on that expansion. And that probe does fall. This pylon still in the background, unbeknownst to soondooboo. However, all these zealots, he needs to get a sentry on the field and force field that ramp. These stalkers are going to fall mighty fast, all these zealots. He needs to start getting that blink micro. A sentry would have been crucial. He does not get a sentry out, however, and all these units are in there just destroying every single one of these stalkers, even with the blink micro, keeping them alive as long as he can. However, the blink cooldown was not fast enough, and that stalker falls. soondooboo does not look like he is going to have what it takes to destroy all of the units in his base. These zealots doing massive damage to GG from soondooboo. And that is game. Just a massive amount of zealots. 1 sentry with 1 force field would have changed the entire aspect of that. However, it was not there. And that is game. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll talk to you guys later.